Okay, so welcome back. So we have actually added a lot of mechanics this time. So let's go through them one by one. So the first thing new you see, it is basically this object. So what does this do? And it does this basically. And if I were to collide in it, I'll actually go around for some reason, and you'll understand that later. So it turns red basically. So yeah. So we've updated this object, which is basically a spinning object. So what the way its script works is basically we have just serialized, three values. So that is basically x, y, and z. It is supposed to be, x angle, y angle, z angle, but it's fine for now. So void update, and we are using rotate. So transform dot rotate x value, y value, z value. Similarly, the way we were using in mover, basically we were doing transform dot translate. Over here we are doing transform dot rotate. So basically these are the rotating values instead of the position values. So I could actually change this. Suppose if I were to increase its speed to 3. So now when I play it, it's rotating quite fast. Suppose if I were to increase it even more, so it's even rotating even faster. If suppose I wanted to change the input field, suppose I wanted to change the axis, so I'll rotate it in x-axis. That's pretty neat. And oh my god, it looks crazy. I know. Suppose I wanted to change it in z-axis. So yeah, huh, fun. There's that. After that, there was a part of my brain which was a bit exhausted to load this, but I finally understood it, how it works, how that code works. So basically, let's see. Let me surprise you all. So wait, first things first, let me just, maybe calm this down so it doesn't really go that much into the eye. Right now, you can see, oh my god, what is that? So basically, we've actually added projectiles to the game. Okay, so how they work is so I made a script. Firstly, they have basically 5 spheres, and then I made a script for the flyer player. So the first thing is the speed. We can increase or decrease their speed in the speed at which they command us. After that, there's this transform player. So basically, it just helps us select. It gives us this field to select our player, and it also gives us the x, y, and z coordinates of it. So there's that. And after that, we actually add a new, basically, what do we say? Vector 3 layer position. So layer position is the name. And what vector 3 is, we will come to that in a bit. So it's basically, the 3D points or the 3D, what do we say? 3D points of you know, the selected layer or whatever it is. So in the start, it is simple. So player position is equal to player dot transform dot position. So basically, the player which we will intake over here, its input or sorry, its coordinates x, y, and z, we actually assign to it. So player position currently holds the location of the player. Okay. After that, we come to void update. So there are, two methods being called over here, move to player and destroy object. So we see actually in this, when I play, I come over here and these will actually disappear once they, reach their position, which was my position. If I just, move past, they are actually coming at my position when I was over here, but I just ran past it. So for now, let's focus on move to player. Uh, so void move to player transform dot position. So this basically is referring to this own object, not the new object, not the player object. It is referring to the position of itself for now. So its own position is equal to vector 3 And the new thing we're learning here is move towards. So over here, so move towards basically consists or should have three things declared inside its value. So first thing should be where it is right now. So that we know it is transform dot position, right? It is its own position, the object's own position. After that, its goal should be the player's position. Okay, of course. The projectile should start at its own place and then reach the player. After that, there's the speed, basically. How much does it need to cover? How much distance does it need to cover? So here, what this basically is doing is the position of the object is being updated till it reaches basically the player. So suppose I just go over here and I just stop over here. So basically all the objects hit me and they stop. Not hit me, but hit the position when I was over here. So this is what it does. After that, they destroy how do they destroy themselves? So that's pretty simple. So here is the logic I've built. So transform dot position is equal to player position. So when finally the own sphere, basically the sphere reaches the player's position. Okay, the sphere reaches the player's position. We just destroy it. Destroy game object. So this is the new part we've learned. Okay. So whenever it just reaches the player's position, so it is deletes itself. After that, I've added this new object called trigger object. So this is the reason it is being triggered. Suppose if I were to actually just increase its scale. So as soon as I start the game, I'm in its reach. So if I just start the game, the projectiles will immediately get activated. So how does that work? Pretty simple. So in this, we have to actually select the objects basically. So the five objects, because there are five spheres that I've added, they basically are unchecked over here. Unchecked means they are not even existing right now. And once they start to exist, everything becomes active and their scripts start to run. But for now, they're not existing. So what we are doing in this pretty simple and basic looking code is we are actually, giving us a field in the game, in the Unity, to just select the objects. So over here, when I select this, we can see the sphere 1, sphere 2, sphere 3, sphere 4, which is over here. And you can see that I've deselected each and every one of them. So, when I click on it, they are there. When I click off of it, they're not there. So, coming to this part, what this basically does is if other.gameObject.tag is equal to player. So, so I actually didn't tell you, but this trigger script we have actually attached to our trigger object, right? This one. In this one, I've removed its mesh renderer, and in its box collider, I've ticked on it is triggered. We have ticked it on, so it understands that it is a trigger. So whenever it is having a collision, or sorry, it is having a trigger, and it sees that the other game object is the player, its tag is the player, it just sets every single projectile to true. So when that happens, every single object just comes to life and just starts attacking the player. Pretty neat. And even in this, there's this one thing that I noticed. If I didn't actually want them to die in this way, just follow just my position in the start, I could actually make them follow me. So fly and player. So I have actually tried this. So instead of just using my starting position, start only happens once. So I'm just coming this out and I'll just basically I'm moving it from here to here. So clear position. So basically my position is being updated every single second. So I'll save this. I'll come here. And now the projectiles should follow, which is really, really neat. So as soon as I press play, a few of them are actually pretty fast. So, there's that. Oh my god. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. This is pretty fun. This actually reminds me of those backroom games in which, there's like Kanye West following you around like crazy. But, yeah, pretty neat. And that should be it for this video. A lot of things. I think it's going to be a big one. I don't know where do we see the recording. Okay, yeah, 10 minutes. Oh my god. But yeah, a pretty neat one and an interesting one. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.